Hello and welcome to another episode of The Losers Win Again. I am your host, Jacob Brown, and week 2 is here, guys. Tomorrow is the day. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here in our final thoughts video. We got our cash GPP lineups. I also got a little bonus extra, little something for you towards the end of the video, so stick around for that. But yeah, we got ownership in. We got guys we like, guys we don't like. Let's just go ahead and get into it. And we're going to start out with the Vegas odds, which is something that's very pivotal and important to look at when you're getting ready to build lineups. Well, week 2 starts out with the Patriots at the Jets. Over under 43. Patriots are 6-point favorites. I'm not very interested in this game at all. Running back Damien Harris looks a little interesting. Patriots defense, if you can afford them, looks a little interesting, but just not a lot to grasp. Then we move on to the Texans, who are 13-point dogs against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland with the 48 over-under. This is a game I do want to attack. Early in the week, all I really looked at was Nick Chubb. Didn't really look at the pass catchers for Cleveland. Didn't really look at anybody from the Texans. Pretty much until I get proven otherwise, the only player I really want from the Texans every week here on out is Brandon Cooks, unless something changes there. But on the Browns side, Nick Chubb, still a great play. High over-under. 13-point favorites. They're at home. It just checks all the boxes that you're looking for in a running back. Nick Chubb is going to be that guy. And I expect him to throw the ball a little bit. Out of the projections I've looked at, Jarvis Landry looks to be the guy that sticks out the most in the Browns offense other than Nick Chubb. I'm assuming Odell Beckham's not playing again, so that's a great spot for him. Then we move on to the Raiders at the Steelers. Steelers are 6-point favorites with the 47 over-under. I'm real interested in Najee Harris. Najee Harris, in our projections, he is projected to be the highest owned running back on the slate this week. Cash game lock, if you're playing cash games. Then you get to guys like, I'm not really going to play Ben Roethlisberger in this game. That might be a mistake, and that could be a good leverage quarterback in that mid price range that nobody's going to get to. So if you're feeling froggy and you got like 150 lineups and you want to play some Ben Roethlisberger, I'm not going to tell you not to. That's just not for me. That's just not my cup of tea. Then you got guys like Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, and Juju Smith-Schuster. I might get to a little bit of them, but it's not going to be a staggering amount. Could be like 2, 3, maybe the highest 5% on one of those pass catchers. If I had to pick one to play, it'd probably be Deontay Johnson. He's just clearly the number one pass catcher on that team. And then on the opposite side, you got the Raiders offense that looked really well against the Ravens last week, but they're playing a whole different animal in Pittsburgh. I really don't see myself getting to the Raiders very much. I mean, if I can afford Darren Waller in the lineup, I might throw him in there. Mini stack with Najee Harris. Hunter Renfrow looked pretty good. Henry Ruggs will have a breakout game, but I just don't think it's Sunday. Braylon Edwards, another guy. It's just not going to be Sunday. But overall, the big interest I have out of all these players is Najee Harris. I'm buying into the chalk, guys. Then we get to the 49ers at Eagles. 49ers are 3-point favorites. This over-under has dropped a little bit to 49.5. Still a decent game to stack. You got Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Zach Ertz is listed as questionable. Jalen Reagor, real good price point for him this week. Then on the opposite side, you got Jimmy Garoppolo, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. We're still not really sure what they're doing with him. George Kittle looks to be a good play at tight end this week and somebody I'm going to try to make an effort to get to at his price point. But overall, I'm not going to play Jimmy Garoppolo. Deebo Samuel, let's just be honest, he's pretty overpriced. But he is getting the usage. If Brandon Ayuk is not going to be as involved as we thought he was, this could be a great game for Deebo Samuel. So he's a good leverage play, in my opinion, if you want to get a little different. But yeah, George Kittle looks to be the guy I really want to get to on the 49ers. We were so excited to play Kyle Pitts last week against this Eagles team. Why wouldn't be excited to a proven talent, the leader of the tight end university, and George Kittle. But yeah, not sure if I'm going to get this stack in my 150s. But as of right now, it does pop as some interest. I had it in my stackings video. Definitely an interesting game. I could definitely see the 49ers just blowing out the Eagles. But it's just, we'll wait and see. Ownership's going to stagger a little bit today and tomorrow morning. But as of right now, I got some interest in this game. Now we head to the Broncos at Jaguars. Jaguars are 6-point underdogs against the Denver Broncos, and I got some interest in this game. It's a 45 over-under, so it's not going to be a lot. But I really like Teddy Bridgewater this week. He's going to be someone we talk about later in the video, so stay tuned for that. Got a little interest in Melvin Gordon. I got a little interest in Javonte Williams. And got a little interest in Cortland Sutton and KJ Hamler. And if you want to do a little mini stack, run it back with maybe DJ Chark or Marvin Jones. Don't really like Laviska Shenault this week. And James O'Shaughnessy, the tight end for the Jaguars. Seemed like every time I looked down and looked back up, Trevor Lawrence was throwing to James O'Shaughnessy. So it was either him or DJ Chark, and both of them were just dropping balls. I don't see the dropping of the balls like continuing. They're going to have to end up catching some of these. They're hitting them right in the hands. Great targets for both of those guys. So yeah, that's my interest in this game. Now we got the Saints at the Panthers. Saints are 3.5-point favorites on the road in Carolina. Over-under is 44.5. This game's kind of fell off my radar a little bit. Of course, you like Christian McCaffrey. But honestly, guys, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to Christian McCaffrey this week. I'm not playing Sam Darnold, so I'm not going to be stacking Sam Darnold, Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, and stuff like that. Robbie Anderson's not really sticking out in the projections. DJ Moore is not sticking out in the projections. Christian McCaffrey's ranked right under, for me, right under Alvin Kamara. It's just not a really good game environment, in my opinion. I think it's going to be a real slow game. If the Saints played the way they did against Green Bay last week, this is definitely going to be a slow game. If Sam Darnold could somehow get things going early, then we would get that pace game that we want. But I just don't see it happening. The Saints defense looks legit, and I don't think Carolina's ready to play a defense of this caliber just yet. So not much interest. I'm going to try to roster Christian McCaffrey when I can, but Alvin Kamara looks to be the first priority for me in that top range of running backs. And if you want to find out more about the top range of running backs, Yesterday, I dropped a positions breakdown video, basically giving you my entire player pool of players that I'm interested in. So when you get through watching this video and when you get through dropping a like on this video and subscribing to the channel, go ahead and go to that next video that I just talked about, position breakdowns, a free player pool for you guys. If you're watching the videos, you're going to get something out of it. Okay, now we move to the Bengals at the Bears. This over-under's dropped a little bit, and this game's got a little bit closer, and it's a little interesting. Not a game that I really want to attack this week at a 45.5 over-under, but it's a game I do want to watch a little bit of. Revenge game for Andy Dalton and his former team. You got the cheap stacking options with Joe Burrow. I mean, these receivers are still pretty cheap. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins are still both in the 5K range. Tyler Boyd dropped to 4,700. I could see myself getting to those pass catchers. I don't really see myself getting to Joe Burrow. I do got a little interest on the Bears side as well with David Montgomery, Allen Robinson, and Darnell Mooney. Those are three guys that I really want to make an effort in getting rostered to. Allen Robinson's a great pivot off of guys like Cooper Kupp and Antonio Brown. Facing a Bengals team, we saw what Adam Thielen just did to this Bengals team. What makes you think Allen Robinson can't do it? Allen Robinson's going overlooked, and I understand it's possibly because of the quarterback play. But look, we got to take chances here. In tournaments, 150 max tournaments, you got to take chances, and Allen Robinson's that guy. All right. Now I move on to some of the more interesting games. Really, I'm excited about the rest of the games we're talking about here. Rams at Colts. I want to make an effort to get to Matthew Stafford. My interest this week has dropped on him slightly just about every day since I've done my first look video. But I do like Cooper Kupp. I do like Robert Woods. I do like Tyler Higbee. We saw what Russell Wilson did to this Colts defense last week. I like what the Rams got. Run back options for Colts are just ugly this week. We didn't see what we wanted to see from Michael Pittman against Seattle. We didn't see Paris Campbell or Zach Pascal really stick out. I got some interest in Jonathan Taylor in a run back option. Just a dart throw. But, yeah, not a lot of good run back options, but a lot of good Rams options. Going to have Rams scattered all over all my lineups this week. Definitely good plays. Then we move on to Buffalo at Miami. Buffalo is 3-point favorites at Miami. The over-under is 47.5. Josh Allen's undefeated against the Miami Dolphins. He plays well against the Miami Dolphins. Don't say that they have a good defense and you don't want to roster Josh Allen, because that's just not the case. He's played this defense. Just look at the stats the last 2 years, and you can see Josh Allen just playing very well against this team. I know some people are concerned about the temperature at the time they're playing this game. I'm not. I'm going to roster Josh Allen. I like his stacking options of Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders. The Miami run back options look good. Will Fuller's back this week, and Will Fuller just makes all quarterbacks better, in my opinion. I really like Will Fuller this week. I like Jalen Waddle this week. Not really big on Devontae Parker. I might get him a little bit. And I really like Myles Gaskin this week. Great run back options for this Buffalo stack. Then you get to the Falcons at Tampa Bay. The second biggest underdog is the Atlanta Falcons. They got an over-under of 51.5. I just can't see myself rostering Tom Brady this week. For some reason, I don't know what it is. I might end up getting them a little bit in my 150 maxes, but I really think they're going to get out early and they're going to run the ball a lot this week. That's just my opinion. Um, I do like this Falcons side a little bit, and I'm not sure. I haven't built my 150 lineups yet, but Matt Ryan at 5,600 looks to be a little interesting to me. If you want to get sneaky in a big field tournament, Matt Ryan, stack him with Calvin Ridley, stack him with Kyle Pitts. Run back options for the Bucks look interesting with Mike Evans and Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin. That's something, if you want to get sneaky, you could definitely do that. And then I just don't think I'm going to get to Tampa Tom Brady stacks, but I think Buccaneers are great run back options and many stacks this week. Then we get to the Vikings and Cardinals, and this game is just going super low owned. And Draftkings purposes, DeAndre Hopkins is the highest owned player at all of these top plays. That's what I love about this game, and I'm going to try to get as much Kyler Murray as I can in my 150s. Not playing him single entries, but I do like what I see. This game is a 50.5 over-under. Cardinals are favored by 3.5. I think this game is going to be closer than a lot of people think, just because the Cardinals destroyed Tennessee last week, and people think Tennessee is a better team than the Vikings. But honestly, I do think this is going to be a closer game. I can expect this to be a great outcome. Okay. So, Justin Jefferson is only like 3 or 4% owned. Same thing with Adam Thielen. Dalvin Cook's like 10% owned. All those are great run back options for Kyler Murray stacks. I think my favorite pairing option with Kyler Murray is DeAndre Hopkins, of course, and Chase Edmonds. That just looks to be the highest projected duo or trio of a 3v1 stack. You run it back with one of those three guys I mentioned from Minnesota, and Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. That's a great way to get sneaky, and we're going to discuss that a little bit more in depth here in a little bit. Cowboys, Chargers. My favorite game of the week. I'm a Cowboys fan. Don't know if the Cowboys are going to win this game, but it should be a very interesting game to watch. The Chargers are favored by 3.5. They got an over-under of 55.5, the highest over-under on the day. Love these stacking options. Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Jared Cook, Jalen Guyton. This is just going to be a big shootout. You got the Cowboys side too, with like Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. I like Zeke this week. I like Blake Jarwin this week. I like Cedric Wilson this week. A lot of good options here. A lot of different ways to stack this game. Definitely going to be a big part of what I do this week in roster construction. Then you get to the Titans and Seahawks. I love this game. It's probably my second most excited game to watch this week. Titans, Seahawks. Seahawks are favored 6.5 points. They got over-under of 54. I think the Titans are going to come back in a good way, big way this week. I think the Seahawks still win, but I think the Titans keep it competitive. You got stacking options with Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Anthony Fersker, Derrick Henry. Then you got run back options with Russell Wilson as well. Stacking options like DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Gerald Everett, Chris Carson, Dwayne Eskridge. If Dwayne Eskridge is still out with his concussion, you got a guy like Freddie Swain who's pretty cheap at $3,400. So these are just great stacking options, run back options. I'm going to have bits and pieces of this game as well. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up for Vegas odds. Very important to look at these before you start rostering, because you figure out what games you want to attack. And it's just crazy. I think a lot of lineups are going to be like really low until like 4 o'clock this week, because all the afternoon games are the games I really like the most. And I'm not really going to get to a lot of these early games. I mean, other than Najee Harris or Nick Chubb. I just don't see myself getting there. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our cash game lineup. Before we start our cash game lineup, we just got to go over these tips here. In cash games, you want to target a 2.5x salary, quarterback flexibility, game flow running backs, deeper wideout statistics such as ADOT, and high floor players. And boy, do we got some high floor players this week. Here it is, guys. I know you guys might be surprised Teddy Bridgewater being in his quarterback position, but we saw what Tyrod Taylor did to this Jacksonville defense. And Teddy Bridgewater is a way better quarterback than Tyrod Taylor. Let's just put that out there. I love Teddy Bridgewater's passing options. And Noah Fant, who we also got down here at tight end. Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick. I love Teddy Bridgewater as a cash game quarterback this week. I won't be playing him in tournaments. You guys can if you want. Just name the stacking options. But he just looks to be the best, safest cash game quarterback to me. And when I mean safe, I mean, look, you can pretty much get anybody else you want in this cash game lineup because you rostered Teddy Bridgewater. Chris Carson's, he just busts out great in this projection system this week. Definitely someone I want. Projecting 17.8 Draftkings points at 6,100 is just great. Then you get to Najee Harris. Najee Harris is the lock button in cash games this week at 6,300. He's going to be high owned. Just go ahead and roster him. Don't overthink it. He is the guy. 20.6 projected Draftkings points. Got to do it. Then we move on to Keenan Allen, who I honestly think is going to be the best receiver on the week this week. He's projected to score 17.5 Draftkings points, but I think he's going to be somewhere in the 20s by the end of the day. Keenan Allen looked great in week 1. 100 yards, 13 targets. Really like him. Cooper Kupp, same story. Looked great in week 1. Getting a lot of opportunities in the passing game. He's got a better quarterback now. This might be the cheapest we see Cooper Kupp all year long. $6K. Projected to score 16.4 Draftkings points. I can definitely see him get in the 20s as well. Really like Cooper Kupp this week. Then you get to Cedric Wilson. 3,100 for Cedric Wilson. Projected to score 8.8 points. I think people are fading the chalk this week because the chalk just hurt so bad last week in a lot of different positions, such as Marquez Callaway and Elijah Moore. He's not picking up the ownership I thought he was. But he's a good way to get to all these other guys, and I think he can at least get you anywhere between 5 to 9 DraftKings points, and that'll get you there at this price point. I'm just going to go ahead and lock him in there. If y'all can find a better value than him at wide receiver, come talk to me. Noah Fant at tight end, 4,200. He got an insane target share last week against the Giants, and I don't see that being any different this week. Teddy Bridgewater, Noah Fant's Teddy Bridgewater's favorite target, and it's pretty clear to me. He's definitely going to be involved in this passing game in a big way every week he's on the field. I like him. 12.2 projection, 4,200. Great price point. We're rostering him. Then we get to Alvin Kamara. I told you earlier I like Alvin Kamara the most out of Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry. Alvin Kamara just looks to be the best option. He's going to get the most usage. I like this game. It's going to be a competitive game, as what Vegas said. Saints are 3-point favorites. I like Alvin Kamara. The offense runs through him. And then you get to the Steelers' defense against the Raiders. Steelers are 6-point favorites. Now you got him stacked up with Najee Harris. I like this. Steelers are the best defense in the league, and they're just way too cheap this week. So They got a 9.5-point projection. Looking pretty good. Then you got total projected points, 142.9. That's a good floor for cash games. And we are real excited. I'm real excited about this lineup. I'm going to play this lineup in cash games. Did pretty well last week in cash games, winning 45 out of 50 head-to-heads. Look to do it again. Now let's move on to what you all been waiting for. GPP strategy this week's GPP lineups. Just go over the tips real quick. You got to draft a boomer bust quarterback at a high price. Create solid quarterback wide receiver stacks with a run back option. Focus on upside. Look for the stealing players, guys. Look for the teams that you know are going to score. Slot a high volume receiver in the flex. That's just something you don't have to do, but that's something that I prioritize, and it's worked out very well for me over the years. Draft some players with low ownership. Your whole lineup doesn't have to be low owned to win a tournament. Matter of fact, if you got a low lineup all around, it does the exact opposite. Check Vegas odds for high over-unders. We've done that. And that's just the way to find the games to attack. Like we're saying, like all these afternoon games are the games we want to attack this week. So looking at these over-unders helps you with that. High turnover defense. You want to find a defense with the most, that's going to be on the field the most with drop back quarterbacks. We got a lot of those interests this week. We went over them in the position breakdowns. Go check out that video. Then we got the smaller the contest, the better. Single entry 3 maxes with low field players in it is the way to go. I try not to play lineups that have 500 or less people in it. This is a better outcome to win more. You don't have to worry about as many people, and you don't have to really get as different. Make 150 lineups every week to get the best outcome. That's just my personal advice. I know some of you can't do that, but make 150 lineups, slot them in projections, get those high top projected lineups in your tournaments. By doing this, you just get better and you figure out what works. Have a reliable database, projection, and ownership to go off of. That's what I do. I got draft dashboard, and I also got a person I follow to get my projections and ownership. He will go nameless. But look, this is the way to go for GPPs. So let's go ahead and move on to it. We got top 3 quarterback stacks, single entries, 3 max. I went over these guys in depth in my position breakdown video, but the reason why I felt it was important to talk about it again real quick is these are the 3 guys you should be playing in your single entries and 3 maxes, in my opinion. They're going to be owned, of course, but in those kind of game environments, that's okay. You can get different in ownership elsewhere, which we'll go over in our lineup here in a second. But Justin Herbert's by far my favorite quarterback this week. In my 150 lineups, he'll probably be my highest owned, him or Dak Prescott. And Dak, another guy I really like this week. I can see Dak Prescott throwing the ball 60 times again this week. The defense is banged up. Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence out. Dak's going to be on the field a lot this week. I think Justin Herbert will be efficient and score quickly, and then you're going to have Dak on the field a little bit longer, throwing the ball a ton. Like him a lot. And then Josh Allen, I'm starting to like Josh Allen a lot this week, guys. I think he's going a tad bit under-owned. He's sitting right around 7-8% right now. I could definitely see him that drop as we prepare for Sunday. Going into Sunday morning, I could see him being more like 5 or 6% owned. But those are the 3 quarterbacks I like the most this week. And these are quarterbacks you should be playing in single entries and 3 maxes. Let's move on to our final look single entry GPP lineup. This is a way I like to look at this game here. We're stacking Justin Herbert with Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen are the two most talented in their positions on this team. Probably the two best offensive weapons for Justin Herbert on this team, and I really like them. Austin Eckler's ownership is only 12%, which is something we really want to look for, and I like the ownership on him there. You got Justin Herbert stacked with those two, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. You running it back with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's a little higher owned than Amari Cooper. That's why I went with this. And then we don't have any mini stacks in this lineup, which could be a problem eventually. Definitely not something that I usually do, but I really like this lineup. You got Najee Harris, 21%, only 6,300, 20.6. He's just a lock all around to me, in my opinion. You guys, if you want to get different and not play Najee, Chris Carson is also in this price range, and he's also a pretty good play at his price point. Then you get Cooper Kupp. I like Cooper Kupp, but if you want to get different, Antonio Brown's the same price, and he's somebody that I have a lot of interest in this week as well. And then you get to Emmanuel Sanders, who's just popping off to projection board. He is questionable. I think he's going to play. I think he just had a Veterans Day off yesterday. He's only 8% owned, a way to get real different in your lineup. A lot of people don't realize this, but Buffalo played bad against the Steelers, of course. They had a bad game. But something that really poked out to me in statistics was the Buffalo Bills wide receiver core ran the most routes, the second most routes in week 1. That's an eye-popping stat. That's why I really like Buffalo receivers this week. I like Stephon Diggs, I like Cole Beasley, and I like Emmanuel Sanders. And we move to Noah Fant, and I can see myself getting a little different here, but he's only 7% owned. That's something we like. We know Teddy Bridgewater is going to target Noah Fant. He got 8 targets last week, scored a touchdown. Really like Noah Fant this week. But if you wanted to get different, like I said, if you want to get different with Cooper Kupp, you could roster Antonio Brown, and then instead of getting Cooper Kupp, you could leverage off of that and go to Tyler Higbee at 4,100 in this price range as well. You got Keenan Allen the flex, great play, possibly the best wide receiver play on the slate in my opinion. Then you got the Vikings defense, who is projecting out well at 7 points. Being one of the cheapest defenses on the slate, projecting out 7 points, that is pretty interesting if you ask me. They're only 6% owned. Total projected points, 143.6. Decent point projection. We typically try to go for a little bit higher than that, but as of right now, you don't want to project point chase. You want to look for the best options and the best lineups. If you feel good about a lineup and the projection doesn't come out well, don't get discouraged, because this is going to be viable. Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, CeeDee Lamb, that's going to be viable. I really like this lineup. Definitely going to play it, and we will go over it next week on the results video. And we got a bonus slide. I don't know how many of you play large field GPPs. I don't know if y'all do multi-enter. If you do 20 max, 150 max, this is a video for you. This next slide is for you. So let's check it out. We got to get different somehow, guys. And like I was telling you before, your lineups don't have to be super low owned to be successful. And this is a great example. If I was playing the Millionaire Maker, this is the lineup I would play it in. If I was playing a large field GPP with 150 max. This is the type of lineup you want to get in there. Kyler Murray's only going 5% owned right now at 8,200. He's projected out to be the best quarterback on the slate. Then you pair him with Chase Edmonds, who I told you earlier was my favorite pairing option with him, and DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is 12%. Decent percentage. Projecting to be the highest scoring receiver in Draftkings this week. Great stacking options. And then you get your run back with Justin Jefferson at 4%. He's projected to score 18 points. He's a top 5 projected wide receiver this week. Going that low owned is just criminal. And I'm going to take advantage of this as much as I can. I'm going to get as much Kyler Murray rosters as I can this week. In this large field tournament that I play in, I play the 50-cent, 150 max, $75 to play 150 lineups. I build them for the single entry purposes. But if I build 150 lineups, I might as well play them, right? So that's something that I'm attacking. If you got $75 to spend this week and you want to play in the 150 lineups, Kyler Murray stacks are going to be a go-to for me. Just way too low on. And this game should be a high-scoring one. I think it's the 4th highest-scoring game on the slate. But yeah, that pretty much does it for me, guys. If you like this video, if you got any good information out of it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. If there's something you felt like I left out, or if you felt like there was something I should have mentioned, drop it in the comments. If you got questions building your lineup Saturday night, Sunday morning, I'm going to be here available in the comment section on YouTube. Go ahead and reach out to me. I'll be here. So, yeah, go ahead, like, subscribe. We'll be here. And we'll see you next time. Hopefully we all cash.